know that as far as running for president, she may have reservations,
right.
But I think she's going to. And she even, was asked about running against Hillary. What do you think about Hillary as a candidate? And she said, and I quote, "Woman with large pantsuit, speak with forked tongue." I think that was an exact quote. And I can't believe somebody that has climbed the political ladder based on a gigantic lie that would allow you to take advantage of minority set-aside status.
It's amazing.
She's going to be running for president. I guess that is the next step from Barack Obama, who's been pretending to be a Christian.
By the way, before you, that pantsuit large,
many moons. I don't
think you wrote that for Herman Cain during his presidential campaign.
No.
Rodney brings up a good point. Either Jeff or Chris. She lied about her minority status, and if it had been anybody else that had an R after their name, the media would have, and rightly so, barbecued that person. She's thinking a free pass.
Wait a second. She's from Massachusetts, and her long-established academic career that got to Harvard with minority set-aside. But I don't think that's the important issue. The important issue, you start out with the right issue. Rand Paul is the enemy of the Republican establishment and the Democrat establishment. Let's face it, there's a group of people who run this game in America who are dying to spend money in wars, who are dying to go for it because that's their business. Building government is the business of big government, and that's Republican big government and Democrat big government. Rand Paul is their enemy.
It's true. It's interesting. It'll be interesting to see. He may have incredible popular support, but it'll be thin.
Ronald Reagan ran up against the same thing.
So he was
the establishment, Republican establishment, despised Reagan, and he didn't have Fox News, the internet, talk radio. The three of us.
As someone on the left, Jeff Olson, what is it about Rand Paul that you don't like?
Well, I think his philosophy is poisonous.
Which is?
The libertarianism. I mean, I like stop signs and streetlights. I'm not ready for anarchy.
I heard he's against that.
I mean,
yield especially.
And I also think he's a grifter, honestly. I mean, he's participating in his family business, which is running for president. I think he's a political grifter. I think he's part of the grifter class of Republicans.
Of course, Hillary's different.
Hillary is...
She's broke, though.
She's been for
she's a real capitalist.
She's also great friends with Wall Street.
Yeah.
So I mean,
indeed,
believe me, she's not my first choice.
Who is your first choice?
I'm
not being facetious.
Elizabeth Warren fan.
Elizabeth Warren.
I think she's great.
You're beating the drums.
She speaks with forked tongue, as Rodney pointed out.
But this is what you want. You want a real choice in America. You want the bookend choice. Elizabeth Warren on the one side, you may call her a liberal, but she's big government all the way.
She's a socialist.
And she's going to be there with big government. Yeah. You may talk the story now, but she's a senator who's getting a lot of money. And then on the other side, you're going to have Rand Paul. He's going to have millions of individuals from the left, from the right, from the center. This is the next Reagan Democrat coalition that's going to come for somebody who's truly independent. We have a real choice in America. That's a different election.
Okay, it would be a different election. And I like as someone, I don't know who I would vote for if the election were held today, but Rand Paul has captured my interest. I'm just looking at him closely, is all I'm saying. I would like that dynamic, Rand Paul versus Elizabeth Warren.
Those would be fascinating debates. They would be substantial debates that wouldn't be mudslinging fests. I mean, I trust both of those people to run a clean campaign on ideas. That would be a wonderful election.
Do you trust Elizabeth Warren not to lie, Rodney?
Oh, yeah. I hope she runs. That'd be great. It'd be awesome. I'm a comedian, however.
A lot of people have relatives. A lot of people from Oklahoma have rumors of relatives on the res. This is perfectly normal.
You can't forgive her for that. You can't slough that off.
I don't think that
she's got blonde hair and blue eyes, and she's a Cherokee.
She exploited it to the max.
And you know what? She took someone's legitimate place in every slot that she took.
On that note, to take a quick break, and before we go to a break, I'm going to say to our viewers at home, if you want to continue the conversation after the show with our panel members or myself, then you can tweet me at Amato Talk. You can also tweet our guests. Their Twitter handles have been listed beneath their name throughout the segment. All right, when we come back, we'll continue with more of our Grassroots Citizen panel. I'm Rick Amato. We're back after this.
One America the news. We need your help. Our country is plagued with problems.
Ongoing health scare.
The Palestinian terrorist group.
The surge of illegal immigrant minors.
That's why we want you to tell us what you want from our next president.
Balancing the budget.
The economy. Better jobs.
Better teachers in schools. Take care of our veterans.
Bridge the political divide.
Equality.
Immigration issues. The upcoming elections in 2016 will be one of the most important in our history. Email us your list of demands and let us voice your opinion.
Both Democrats and Republicans agree a permanent solution must be reached. States such as North Carolina are cutting back on its unemployment programs. Many are saying the order has sidestepped federal rules and perhaps also the Freedom of Information Act.
Welcome back, everybody. We're in the middle of our grassroots citizen battle, and let's kick off the topic with the feds turning a blind eye to the border. Let's start with Rodney Lee Conover. Rodney, we keep hearing about the poor kids from Central America fleeing to violence, fleeing to poverty. I have a question that no one talks about. What about the violence and the poverty in America? Places like Flint, Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, New Orleans, the homicide rate, some of the poverty rates in those cities are higher than what, or certainly the homicide rate is higher than what they're fleeing in Central America. Why are we not focusing our resources in those American cities?
You know, there's some interesting pushback, especially from Chicago, Barack Obama's, home state, as it were.
Home state.
They're saying $3 billion for what? $3 billion to relocate or resettle or send people? What? What's going on there? Why isn't that $3 billion coming to us, to our people? And I'm talking about black leaders on the south side of Chicago going, oh, they're coming from a dangerous country and that's why you're letting it? Have you visited lately? Because you're right, it is more dangerous. I find it odd at best that they would try and resettle some of these kids in South Chicago. Just exactly what they want to say.
Is this an issue we can agree on?
I don't know about the violence in Chicago and urban inner cities is horrific, of course. Same with the violence in Central America. But I have a real problem with the border. It's unbelievable to hear stories today about one officer that patrols hundreds of miles of border and makes $11.50 per hour. I mean, conservatives complain about his fat pension. That guy's earning every penny he's ever going to get.
I'm not sure if I ever heard anyone concerned.
Tea Party and Occupy coming together. This is an American movement because it's obviously extremely racist to bring all this low-wage labor in. It's going to crush the black people in America. It's going to hurt the people who are trying to come up from the lower level. And it's just so obvious that big corporations love this policy and little people get,
Our immigration policy is racist. It totally is.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're brown, you're not in. If you have a
How do you say if you're brown, you're
Most
not
people
in?
that come in are brown.
Everyone coming across is brown.
Are you kidding me?
It's a lot easier to get a visa from Scandinavia than to get a
All right,
green card from Honduras.
so you're
But
saying
it's a lot easier to walk across an 8-foot patch of water
we have
than it is to fly over.
5 million people here illegally right now, are estimated that came across illegally.
Yeah.
And they're
Amnesty. Reagan. Just like Reagan. Give them amnesty.
So how's that racist? How's that racist?
Well, the racist policy is the quotas that keep people out of certain countries and take people from other countries. It's classist too. I mean, if you're an engineer or a doctor from
I have
Pakistan,
no problem. I have no problem with bringing the educated who can bring.
But they can be engineers of any race.
Those aren't your huddled masses.
Whoa. We're talking about bringing low wages in, low labor people in to crush wages. They're doing it in technology too. Don't tell me there aren't engineers available.
You know what? But Rodney brought up a great point. So you're saying, Jeff Wilson, we're bringing in the engineers and so forth. That's not racist.
That's classist.
That's different than racist.
Well, you want to bring in people with skills.
Of course, but what about
we have enough unskilled.
That was a different time in life. We needed huddled masses. Say, give us your billionaires and your engineers. It says, give us your huddled masses and yearning to be free. What is America, if not the destination for the people around the world who are being oppressed and being terrorized?
All right, so question
that is America.
So should we allow those people in Detroit, those kids in Detroit and Flint, Michigan, to go southward to Central America without any, go across that border illegally because it is safer there? The homicide rate is lower in Central America. I'm being facetious, but you see my point. All right, let's switch gears here. A story that we covered last week, it made our Jag-Off segment. There is a restaurant in Stillwater, Minnesota. The state of Minnesota, Chris Street.
Minnesota.
You're an economist.
Yes.
The state of Minnesota has imposed a minimum wage hike increase. So there's a cafe there which has imposed a 35-cent surcharge, minimum wage surcharge on every customer's restaurant bill. Some on the left are calling it an outrage.
Shame on that guy.
Here is why it's not an outrage. As I said last week, those critics don't get it. Businesses pass the cost to the consumer through the price of increased goods. In this case, he's doing what the White House does. He's being transparent.
Well, Rick, if you took a person's, when you get paid your paycheck, it shows, what taxes you paid. But if they showed what taxes your employer also paid, how big this number is, it works out more like 16, 17%. All Americans would understand that the government is a very hungry animal. It needs to take all this money and put it in weapons.
And we got to leave it right there. I'm sorry, Jeff Olson. I know the Occupy protester want to weigh in. We're going to have to leave it with the Economist, who gives them a snarky look across the table. All right, that's our grassroots citizen panel. I want to thank political activist, Occupy protester Jeff Olson. He also protested outside of Bank of America and got arrested, but won the lawsuit. Also want to thank writer, comedian, editor for Joe America, former writer for Rush Limbaugh and Herman Cain, Rodney Lee Conover.
Thanks.
UC Irvine professor, economist, national security expert, and pollster, Chris Street. Doesn't play quarterback, though. I want to thank you, our viewers, for watching. We're right back at you again tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. And now I leave you with our Amato Mio moment of the day. DNC Chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, spokeswoman, or is she a machine?
In the do-nothingest of do-nothing Congresses, the most do-nothing of do-nothingest Congresses, the do-nothingest of do-nothing Congresses, the do-nothingest of do-nothing Congresses. This is the do-nothingest of do-nothing Congresses. Nothing shocks me with the Republican Party's immaturity anymore. It's stunning. It's just stunning. What is stunning here is truly stunning that it's stunning. What we need to do is sit down and work together. We need to sit down and work together. Sit down and work together. Let's sit down and work together.
We the